Zo, we zijn er. Het is gelukt. Welkom, Siegfried Aikman. Okay, het is gelukt. I got to change to English now. We were talking just pre-show a little bit in Dutch, so I have to change to English now. But welcome, everybody. Happy that we've made it. Siegfried is currently in Oman, and we had a little bit of a technical difficulty for him to join, so that's why we are a little bit late here. But we managed, and we thank you for your patience here. So happy to see that yeah, Christina, you're back. You're waiting for me all your life. Please don't. And Bert de Boer from Kampong, yeah, says, where is Siggy's assistant when you need him? Yeah, he's not in Japan anymore. I don't know what assistance Oman is providing, but Siggy is doing it all by himself now. But Bert says, yeah, he's very happy that you are back online, Siegfried. So very, very good to see. And we have Jacob says greetings from Hamburg. We have Anthony from Barbados. I remember this time, Anthony, not Trinidad and Tobago, from Barbados. So happy to see all of you here. Please, if you join us, let us know in the comments where you're from, so that we know that you are here. The idea is today we're going to talk about the SWOT analysis of the three teams who are currently leading the Pro League. So I got you some good teams there, Siegfried, to analyze. But as always, bring your questions. Make this as interactive as possible. Bring your questions to the comment section so that we can bring them on screen and we can make this an interactive talk as much as possible. So it's not just Siegfried sharing his wisdom, but we get to share a little bit of wisdom of all of us. That's our goal here. But okay, Siegfried, let's talk about, you've got Belgium, you've got Germany, no, you've got Belgium, you've got GB, and you've got India for the three teams that you're analyzing. We've seen the analysis from the other teams from Fede Tanusio previously, and last week from Graham Reed. Very interesting. So we're curious to hear your analysis of those three teams now. The floor is all yours, Siegfried.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all. Great that you joined. I will do my best to share something with you, which are, of course, my own thoughts about how they play or what they do, and more I cannot do. If you have questions, please ask, because I like to answer questions more than that I'm talking, because I can speak a lot, and believe me, I can talk all day, especially about hockey, but it's now about what we do. If we look at the Pro League, and at this moment, it's a very interesting competition. It's interesting because the teams are renewing, they renewed, they are trying things out, and I think that at this moment, the Pro League is actually a test center for the Olympics. And teams are looking now what they can do and what they shall do at the Olympics and what they do now. They, like Belgium, brought a young team, new players. They try to give them the floor. They check the experiences. Argentina is with a young team. India is with a mix, but mainly uh, players who are already in the group. So all those teams are trying to find out what works, what doesn't work, what can we do, what should we do, what can we show, what can't we show. Of course, everybody has video, so they try to put it into a frame. And it's interesting to see what the results are, how the teams are developing. And let's talk, for instance, about India. India, why? Because they have a new coach. Why? They have they are very ambitious to go somewhere to show themselves. They have a billion Indians who are eager to know where the team will go, and that means a billion assistant coaches as well, because they all have their opinions, and they are, yeah, most of them are very engaged with the national team, and the only thing they want is a win, win, win. And as we just talked, that coaches want to try, want to explore, want to uh, research about what are the opportunities are, especially when you have a new coach. By the way, the coach comes from Ireland, has a Belgian background, or worked with Ireland, comes out from South Africa. Sorry, it's a
Yeah.
South African. Like we have many South African coaches at the moment,
Almost more
because
than we have
we
players.
also have a South African coach. So the world is dominated by South African coaches, but that's a sidestep. If you look at this and you look at what the challenges are, is that the last two World Cups, India went to the quarterfinal, didn't make the quarterfinal. They, if you look at the Olympics, they were fifth in the Olympics. So at first you could think, hey, they are rising, they are making steps, but somehow at the World Cups at in their home country, it doesn't work. They can't go past through the quarterfinal, and that's something which is worrying, I think, for India. And to do so, they are looking for ways to improve their hockey, and also look at their playing style, the structure. And what I have noticed is that at this moment, they try to uh, start from the base, they try to play more attacking hockey, go more in front. But on the other hand, if I look at it, then I see that looking from behind, from the back four, they play with the back four. They play with three on the midfield in a triangle with the top ahead, and then they have three attackers spread over the pitch. And from there, you see that they play mainly in the back four. They play around. Then they play sometimes to the midfield. Midfield stroke the ball. Ball goes to the side, and from there they play many line balls. And if the ball is on the side, it hardly changes from side, because they try to speed up the game, and they enter mostly the 23 from the side, and there they try to go baseline, they try to enter the D, but actually they are more from the sides. And that makes me a bit worried, or not worried, suspicious more, because I think, hey, why are they not exploring the center part more, as you see other teams do? And maybe it's a way to try out from what can we do from the sidelines, what are the opportunities, how can we play. But the attacks are mainly from the sidelines, getting in, and from there they try, they if they come into the zone 4, I call it zone 4. By the way, this is my board. If you can see my board, if this
Yes.
is your uh, defending goal and you play in this direction, I call this zone 4. And in zone 1, you don't take a risk. You try to build up in possession. And in possession, you try to, if possible, you try to transfer the ball from ball side to help side. If you come into zone 2 and 3, you have the midfield zones, in where you try to play the ball, and from there you want to transfer the ball from ball side to help side. I don't know if you're familiar with those wording. So with ball side, help side, you divide the pitch in two. If the ball is on this side, you call it the ball side, and then this becomes the help side. And on the ball side, most of the time, you have the opponents near, and they do close marking, man-to-man marking. And on the help side, they do zonal man-to-man, and that means that they are trying to create a flat triangle. So if the opponent is here, ball is there, defender will be somewhere here. Then if this passing line, they will try to create a flat triangle like this, and they try to intercept the ball here. So they give actually a kind of fake space. You have the idea that you're free, If you play the pass, they accelerate inside, they try to intercept the ball there. And with that, they can support their teams on the players on the ball side, because if something goes wrong, then this player can act as a free player, a free man. So in the ball side, help side defense, you see that when you want to play an attacking game, you would like to transfer the ball from ball side, because opponent will have many players on the ball side, and if you go to the other side, you can accelerate and you're gone.
Mhm.
Well, you see, I see that this is happening a lot, but not in the game from India. In India, they try to, from here they go with the line balls. And if they go with the line balls, means the players get the ball on the outside. If they get it inside, then it becomes directly more dangerous. But actually, they want to do this like this here, this area in zone 4. Zone 4 is the attacking area. That's the area in which you take a lot of risk and where you try to create goal scoring opportunities.
Mhm.
So basically, you can see that this is what I see most a lot in India. If they have the ball in the inside part here, then mostly the ball goes back, or they bring the ball back to one of the sides, and from there they play on.
A
So in possession,
question for you, Siegfried, if you allow me. Do you think that this is
of course,
something that has to do with Indian DNA, Indian culture of hockey? Is this something from the previous coach in his philosophy that he pushed this style of play, or is it something that just about okay, I have these kinds of players, I do not maybe have the players to do it like you suggested here, but I have only the players to play it like you described here now.
yeah, well, I don't think that it's in their DNA, because their DNA is attack, attack, attack,
Yeah.
and doing a lot of individual skills.
Hmm.
And where I wanted to go is that what I see now happening is they do lots of short combinations on that midfield area. So I see here a lot of passes in this area here. There are many passes in the zone 2 and 3, and those are the short passes, because if you play the line ball, it's mostly a long ball.
Yeah.
After the long ball, you need support. If you can get the support in place, then you only have, and you don't want to use the help side, means that you have to do it with short passes,
Hmm.
because it's a give and go. It's create a 2v1 or 3 versus 2, which you can bring back to 2v1, and that's what you mainly see happening. But the back four are not really joining in the attack.
Hmm.
So it's mainly the midfield and the attackers who are trying their level best in that area.
Yeah.
So, and the what is typically Indian is that they have a lot of speed. They are very agile. They can easily change directions. They can their elimination skills are good.
Hmm.
Uh, the only problem I see in this is that their receiving, the ball mostly bounces from the stick. So their first touch is not good enough. And that means that the opponent can put pressure. They have many players near. And if the first touch is not good enough, you are directly under pressure. Your head goes down, your view is gone, and then you lose the ball most of the time in that area. And that's the area where the opponents want to counterattack.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
So this is what I see many times in the Indian hockey, and it's a pity, because they try to attack and play as attacking as possible. I see that there is more control, so I think that that's a result of the previous coaches, but the setup that India wants to go more in a blend from how you can, Western hockey and Indian hockey. It's fusion hockey at the moment. It's a
Hmm.
mixture from both, and actually, it has more similarities with Australian hockey,
Yeah.
because if you look at Australia, if they have ball possession, They also try to go to a W5 attackers. They want to go fast, so their acceleration is good. But the difference between India and Australia is that Australia are more dynamic as team. So their back four are also joining and create make it compact. And if you look at the Indians, the back four doesn't uh, join good enough. So there are gaps in between, and if you lose the ball, there is a lot of space for counter attack. So this is what I think India does in possession play. So if you watch that game, check if I'm right. Now, I would ask you because we said it will be interactive. So are there questions about this? Because
We,
maybe I'm telling fairy tales, huh?
we have one question already from Beck de Boer from Kampong in the Netherlands. He says or suggests maybe they should go back to their original DNA regarding the development of a new astroturf because okay we are evolving towards a non-irrigated astroturf. Well, we're not there yet, Beck, for once. So we're still playing on water-based. So and we will. My bet is we will for some years on international hockey. But yeah, do you think that is something that they should go back to in the way that they played on natural grass? If we are going to a new kind of turf?
Uh, I think they never left their DNA because that's why it's in your DNA. I don't know. You cannot become a mutant, but and I think that what they forgot and what they have left is that they do too much long balls, and what they do too much is, in my opinion, is that they don't play the short combinations well enough, and the mastering of the skills, especially in receive and passing, it's a problem. And if they would be able to do that, because in the past they had the corridor hockey because of the formation with uh, two players defending, three players supporting, and five attackers. So they had two fullbacks. Let me show you. They had two fullbacks, mainly like this, and they're the two fullbacks. Then they had two side halves, one center mid, and then they had a left out, left in, center forward, right in, right out. And then you got the W here. And actually, Australia is doing that. When they win the ball, they quickly go into the W or into the old formation. And actually, if you see that, that's something where India, Pakistan, Asian countries should be are good at. But to play this game, they play the long ball and then followed by very short passes, and they were swapping the corridors because you can see this as corridors, and then they make sure that the corridors were good occupied and that you can transfer the ball easily to corridors. And if you do that, you get a lot of position changes into the corridors, but you also get short passes and shuffles, and there's always someone coming up. You play a target ball, you have the if you can get the ball, you accelerate and you try to win. If not, you drop the ball and you get it again, and then you accelerate. There's a lot of speed, acceleration, and because of the rotations in the corridors, it's quite interesting. And that is something I think that modern hockey is also part of and allows them things to a space to play. So if you look at this, then yeah, I think that their DNA is there. They only need to use it more in their skills more in tactical way. So they have skills, but they cannot utilize those skills supporting their tactics. If they can do that, they will be, I think, there's a lot of space for them to grow. But who am I? You'll
Just an
see.
international coach, Siegfried. Just an international coach
Yeah, yeah.
sharing his
Like there are
insights.
many. Like there are many. And but I like this because with Pakistan, I recently coached Pakistan. I try to play according the principle of defending to attack and to create a lot of space and speed in our attacking play. So
Yeah, yeah.
because
That
if you
aligns a
win the
little bit with
ball,
the that aligns a little bit maybe with the question from Nico Moonard here from Belgium. So they says about India, they work too much to get more PC with their play. Are they having enough counter control as well?
well, as I said, that they have the counter control because they have some players behind, but the players for the counter control are not in the center. So they have some players on the make it wide, and then there's too much space for opponents to counter, and then they nowadays hockey is very physically the teams are physically strong, so they can make the shuttles very fast. That means that as soon as a team wins the ball, they create numbers. And because they create numbers, the counter control, if you have the players spread over the pitch, then they can enter the seams. They can go between the seams and they will accelerate in that, and that makes it difficult for the counter control. So they try to counter control. I think that they should do it more in a diamond setting and more inside so that you cover the hot channels and that you force the opponent to come outside. And if they come outside, you first close the inside. And from there, you do your defensive movement instead of following the player to the outside. And then the ball comes inside and they cut you and you get into trouble. But can I
Yeah,
see the question again
yeah,
from
yeah.
Anthony?
From Anthony Trotman from Barbados. So it reminds him of
Oh,
Pakistan's old 5-3-2 formation, but that puts a lot
yeah.
of pressure on the midfield for attacking, but also defense. Do you
Yeah,
agree?
because they not the problem in these countries are that the players on the midfield are actually defenders and they don't have a midfield attitude. So if you go to the 2-3-5, you have five attackers and the three players who should be midfield players are actually the left half and the right half. They are in our hockey, they are the left defender and the right defender. And the left in and the right in, those are our left midfielder and right midfielder. But they see themselves as attacker. Then you have a center mid who is the connection between attack and defense. That means that the two side backs they go far to with you select side halves actually for the defensive qualities, and now they need to play like midfield, so they have to transfer the ball, play the ball, and that's a different way of looking at hockey. So they select players for those positions who are defenders and not players who actually are used to play like a midfielder. But the formation itself, nothing is wrong with it. And I think it's even formation you can easily use in modern hockey, especially where we go up and down. And so it, I think it will come more and more that we will try to create, if we try to create attacking numbers, we almost always need to come to the five. And then we need to play with the three attackers like target players, so that from the second line, you get your players in. And that means you pass stick to the attackers, and the attackers drop the ball stick to space in where the midfielders from go to the ball in space, because if you play the ball stick to stick again, then in the marking they will be directly under pressure. If you play the ball in space, that means that the opponent doesn't know exactly where the ball will come, so you create some extra advantage. But I think that you will see it more in Paris Olympics and after Paris Olympics because we are now in a transition from, and now I will come to the defensive part. If there are no other questions, then if you look at how India do the pressing, because of their game, they lose the ball mostly in zone 4. So if you look at this, they attack, they play, they lose the ball many times in zone 4 in this area here. Then when they lose the ball here, then what they do is they send one forward to do the dirty work. This player press alone on everyone, and in the meanwhile, the other players go back to half court press. And in the half court press, that's where they play zonal hockey. They do zonal defense, so they don't pick up the opponent. And when the ball is in zone 1 or comes near zone 1, then you see man to man marking here. Sorry, it's not really clear, but then they go into man to man 101s. But this player here, also when the opponent is building up, there's one player here who is trying to disturb the build up so that the others are in this area back into the structure. And they don't care where the attackers are. They are on the ball side. They squeeze a lot of players to the ball side and close the zones. And they try, if the ball comes into the zone, they want to intercept the ball. But as soon as the ball comes in zone 3 to 4, there you will see that man to man marking will start and then will be more tight. And if this happens, and that's the interesting part, in the D they do man to man marking, and that makes them also a bit vulnerable because at first the man to man marking, if the opponent's there, then the defender is there, opponent's there, defender is there, opponent C defender is there when the ball is here. So in this case, the defender has the shortest way to the goal, but also to the ball and can intercept. But what happens is that if you play like this, if the attacker moves more early, he cuts the defender, then he has a free receive. And that makes it difficult for the defense to play well, because what you see now is that many times the attacker blocks the defender, and then if he can block the defender, he gets the ball, and then it's a one touch, a two touch in the D, which allow them a space opportunity to score. While when the Indians are attacking, they try to dribble and they run the ball. So we have a difference in style. Here it's a 1-to-1 more, and here it's mostly protect the ball and directly drop the ball into space for the other attacker where they get come in, or that midfielders comes in. And if you look at the D, then goal scoring zones are here, 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 and here. And
Can you
if you do
tilt your
man
screen a
marking,
little bit, Siegfried? Can you tilt your screen a little bit?
uh,
Or that? Yeah, perfect.
sorry. So
Perfect.
if you're here now, then you will see the movement here, defender, attacker. If the ball is on this side, sweeper here. Now, what they do here, they play the ball, they turn, ball comes in, and then they let the ball drop in here. Player comes from here, gets into the free space, and makes a one touch. Ball comes down, and a one touch. They also play the ball, not a ground ball, but a ball between the ground and the knee. And if the ball is between the ground and the knee, it's difficult to defend. And they can, if they touch the ball in one time, it gives the attacker more opportunities. So this is something which showed at the World Cup and is now also in the Pro League. You see that it gets to the next level, and it's very difficult to defend. So some teams are going to zonal marking more because of this, because they said every ball which comes in the zone we need to have. Others do the man-to-man marking, and in the man-to-man marking, and that's something which I think they are now trying is how far how much space can you allow the attacker, in which you can cut the line so that he cannot cut you. Because if you are too close and the attacker has the initiative, he can block you out. But if you are on a more space, then if he moves, you're still able to adjust and make sure that he cannot block you out, and then it's it's more easy to defend. So, are there questions about this?
Oops, sorry, I was muted again. So there we go. We've got the question from Jacob from Hamburg, Germany. How could you sum up their zonal defense system in numbers?
Oh, it depends on what you mean. Because so I've been coaching floorball, and then and in floorball you put the zones on the pitch. You divide the pitch in zones. So if you want to do it in numbers, you can do it from there. But you can also say numbers means how many players do you want to have in which zone, and what do you want. So it depends on your strategy and your own vision. And for me, it's important that when you do zonal defense, you don't want the ball to enter the area which you protect. So that means that if the opponent has the ball, you put your numbers, and you can put four midfielders, you can put five midfielders, because what you want is you want to make a screen like in handball before your goal and before your dangerous area. And every ball entering that screen, you should intercept. So, to make it clear, again, this is the dangerous zone. So I don't want balls to come in here. So if I would play zonal, I would create a screen. The ball is on this side. I would squeeze more here, so that every ball in this area would be mine. If the ball is here, I would ask my goalie to support the marking in the D, to make sure that if they play the high ball, that they don't get an easy receive opportunity and hit. Uh, but what we always also see at the moment is that teams play the high ball in the help on the help side, because the help side has less numbers and has more space. So you see many high balls coming, cross diagonal high balls dropped behind the defending line. In the past, we were playing the high balls in front of the defender, and mostly in a attacker who is in that zone. But now you see that the ball comes behind the defender, and that the attacker has a free space to go. If you play zonal, and you want to take out the high ball, you will have need an aggressive pressure on the ball carrier. The ball carrier should not be allowed to scan for passes or have the time to play the high ball. That's also uh, space for improvement in technical way, because we need to go to develop players, midfielder, all players who can play the aerial ball on the run,
Mhm.
and that will also open the development of the old-fashioned scoop. Because the old-fashioned scoop, we have the flick stroke. The flick stroke is a ball which comes like this, and it when it goes down, it accelerates away. If we play the old fashioned scoop, lob, no scoop, then you get a lob pass. The lob goes very high and drops, and when it drops, it maybe bumps a little, but it stays in the same area. And that makes it playable, and it gives you a lot of space. If you do the flick stroke, which we now in January called the scoop, which is wrong, means that you apply a wrong skill. And if you apply the wrong skill, you get a wrong result. So you need to go more. And with the scoop, you do on with the right foot in front. So you can even use it as an elimination skill. So there you see that football will come more and more into hockey, or hockey grows like football, because arrogant as we hockey coaches are, we think that we are the one who invented the tactics, and that football is following. But I think that football is much farther with this concept, especially for the offside and the things they do. So they develop more running patterns, more also in defending, how to defend those balls. And there you see that instead of running to the ball, they run into space and then wait for the attacker to come and go again. We in hockey still run to the receiver instead of cutting the receiver and let him do the work. So there are some things which we can improve, but this is basically what goes on.
Yeah. Uh,
So
Question then
uh,
from Bert de
that,
Boer also about the aerials. Is what do you think about the use of the aerial play of India compared to the other teams, both from defense or
well,
from attack?
well, in attack, I think that India uses the aerial. Well, there are only a few key players who are playing the aerials, and as I said, every player should master the aerials. And you see that Western teams went to that level already. And I think that India has some space to develop in that, and that they don't use the aerial enough. And if they use it, it's followed by a dribble. And I think that nowadays you see, for instance, Belgium, they play two aerials. They go cross and they bring the aerial back. And in defense, if they are under pressure, they play the aerial as well to escape the pressure. And the aerial to escape pressure means that you play the ball. Uh, do you see my fingers?
Yes.
These are two attackers. And if I play the ball in between here, it's not dangerous. If I play the ball, if the attackers are like this, and I play the ball here, now it becomes dangerous. So the defenders who are pressing me. So I need to go away from the defending players or the pressing players, because if I have the ball in defense, how you call it, but I'm an attacker because I have ball possession. And if I have ball possession, I need to escape the pressure, and they will come to press because they don't want. And if I'm already low, I can use that scoop pass, for instance, to escape the pressure. Because if they, the moment I win the ball, as I said, they come to press because they want to deny me space. And but when I have the lob, I can lob the ball from my foot, near my foot. So it's quite easy to escape that pressure with the high ball. So you can use that high ball in defense. That when you win the ball, play the ball away, clear it, open it, go to the help side, and then pots, you're gone again. So it's actually, then I'm again talking about possession play, but possession play at the moment I win the ball and they put me as a defender under pressure in zone one, in my zone one, in my defensive D, because there it's congested. And how do I escape? You can do it two ways: by playing quick passes and protecting the ball, or you can directly look for, hey, where's the space in which I can utilize to play the aerial. That's
Siegfried,
something where you see
yeah, Siegfried,
that Belgium,
maybe
I
we
swapped to
can.
Belgium secretly. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, that's what my question was going to be. We were talking about Belgium. Let's go to the SWOT from Belgium now, because we've been talking for almost 40 minutes already about India.
Yeah, but I was not only talking about India, I was talking
True,
also about some general information. But
true.
if you look at this and you look at the games, because the thing is, if you look like this, then you can analyze the SWOT yourself, and you can see, hey, where's the space? What is going on? How do they do? If you look at Belgium, Belgium is renewing their team, and they are trying to play the hockey for the future. And with the new team, I think they are, Belgium especially, I think that they are exploring what is possible. What can we do? What can't we do? So how do we go? What can we do more in line with our future? And where do we put the young players? If you look at the young players, they are not so experienced, but were players who did well at the Junior World Cup last year, November, 2 years ago. So those players did well, and now they have the opportunity to do that in the national team in the pro league. I think that they were on hold for a too long period, so that is for international hockey. So that makes it difficult. But on the other hand, now they get the opportunity. They don't need to hold their horses, and they are young and have more energy. So the rotation in the Belgian play is now also more important. So that you see that if they build up, there's more dynamics where uh, the older team was waiting for moments. I see now more dynamics, more movement, and but the principles are the same. And the principle, for instance, if they have ball possession, what they do is they connect the opponent, they attach with the opponent, they connect the opponent, and they connect the opponent to disconnect. So what they actually do, they take the opponent to the ball side, and then they disconnect by letting one player move into the help side, who is then totally free. And they can easily play the ball. So they do also many short high balls, the lobs they play to escape and to create space to get behind the defenders. They use uh, zone 2 and 3 in. So basically, here they play the ball patiently up and down like this. They play the ball in here and get it back like this. Then they play the high balls in this area here to get the ball there, or they go to here in this area, and from here the ball can go here again, and from there. So what you see with the high balls, that they uh, use the variations and they look at where can we go with the high balls. But basically here is where they control. Then they bring the ball in here. If they can go here, they will always try to get the ball on one side first, so that many defenders will go to the ball side, and then they bring their players also here, which one going there, so that they can play the diagonal ball, and from there everybody moves. Then they go with a ball in the contra line again. Uh, I like it because there is a lot of dynamics in their game, and but the young team makes some technical mistakes, and they are less in control because mostly what happens with younger players is that they use a lot of energy, and they are when you are more experienced, you are more relaxed, you control more, and when you run effectively. And they have a little bit high speed in running and less in control. And that's something where Belgium is paying the price, because when they make those mistakes, the counterattack is killing. The counterattack that they get is then that you can't switch your directions very easily. So they do, because they use a lot of energy, but unfortunately, the damage is then already done. And I think
Still
that
with
that's
with a
something
lot
where
of young
Belgium,
players, still with a lot of young players, they managed to beat Australia full force in a very dynamic game.
yeah, but that's it. It goes with ups and downs.
Yeah.
It's the same like Holland plays also with a very young team and experience, but the guys have energy and they are not afraid to make mistakes.
Yes.
So they give it a shot and they give it their best shot. And that's also what I like. That's why I actually a little bit surprised that they used they took so long so long time before they started to use players. They should have done it directly after the last Junior World Cup because they had a talented bunch and they had very good experienced players. But my opinion, and it's worth maybe nothing, but they could have made the transition smoother. And if you do that, and now I hope that the players still are motivated, kept motivation and kept fighting to get in the team. But if they would give up, it would be so a waste of talent because I think Belgium has a lot of talent and the players are there.
Absolutely.
And in the Belgium play, it's also, if you look at what I see now, is I see eagerness, I see energy, I see, uh, and they make mistakes. Let's be clear about that. But that's why I said before, they utilize this period to learn, and you can only learn when you make mistakes, and you explore, you try new things. That means that it takes time to get into that shape, and I think that Belgium hockey made the right choice now and after the maybe all in Paris Olympics it might change, but after it will certainly change. And then I would like to see if they are able to maintain the ranks which they have now.
Yeah.
And
Do you see
in
do you see
defending,
a difference? Do you see a difference when the coaches switched positions? So when Michel van den Heuvel took over from Shane McLeod, do you see a difference there?
I didn't see a real difference because I think that players own their own game
Yes.
and it doesn't matter who is there, and the players who are there, they were also used to Michel. Let's be clear, huh?
Yeah.
Michel is long time with Belgium and he was the one leading most of the training sessions, and that means that the skills, the tactics, the things which they were doing were all he was at least part of it, let me say
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the real situation because I'm very long time abroad, so I don't know about that. But I know that he's there. I know how Michel works, and I think he is a very good coach. So I don't see that there are many differences, but there are different personalities,
Yeah.
and the personalities there might be so that well, it's obvious that the change, so a different personality has an effect. I can be clear on that. But what the effect is, I don't know. Thing is also that the Belgian players are getting older, and and not only older, but they won everything. They achieved all their dreams. So having that motivation is also more difficult. And as I think they were the oldest team at the World Cup.
Yes.
So yes, it has an effect, and I think that uh, all the critics which came. But if you play the World Cup final, you did a very good job. And it
Absolutely.
was a tight final, close final. So who am I? I think this is really well done. And I think that Michel did a good job as coach, playing the World Cup final and whatever. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah,
Maybe also maybe now touch on GB on Great Britain
I,
because I
yes.
believe
Yeah.
that they've made some real changes in the way that they play. Do you agree?
Yes, they did. They do, and they did, and they are doing. And
Yeah.
what I like that Paul Reffington, I already complimented him because I see that he does his homework very well, and he prepares his team very well on what comes. And the players, I see a lot of positive energy. I see a lot of attacking play. I see the players playing differently. Normally, it's very structured and predictable, the GB play, and now I see more creativity. I see also that the style they are playing more into space instead stick to stick. They keep the ball a little longer. In around the D, they play a lot of how do you call it? give and go hockey, short passes. They they try in the D. They take more risk. Before they played too much on the penalty corner. Now they try to make field goals. They also do dribble a little more. And so I think that GB made is one of the teams who made the biggest transition, and they already did at the World Cup. I think that at the World Cup they played fantastic. They were unlucky that they didn't make the quarterfinal, but that's part of the game. And I see the same energy and the same. Actually, they continued, so I think they are getting better. Actually, I think that GB will be top four in Paris Olympics. I'm a fan
That's
of their way of playing. I like the way that they played structured, but they played with passion, lots of passion more, and also with determination to show their hockey skills. So, and I think that they have freedom, but within structure.
yeah,
And attackingly, it's more attacking than before. Before it was more passive on ball control, on afraid to lose the ball. Now they play to win. And to play to win means an attacking attitude, but also having your defense well organized. And that's the part they struggle a little bit with, because if you focus on the attacking, then you need to arrange your defensive support better. And that's where at this moment they are a little in disbalance, but they are in the Pro League more in balance than at the World Cup. But again, the World Cup is the stage where that's where you are assessed, and
yes,
the Pro League is the kindergarten where you can try out. Huh? It's a tryout. It's a big tryout. So it gives you also a false narrative and a false belief in uh, your options and your qualities. So that's a little bit. But looking at GB, I think that they are on the right spot, and they renewed the team. They have players who are now uh, who have more confidence and who take more risk in their play,
yeah.
and
We've
that's
got
something
yeah.
which I think
We've got a
we in
question here
hockey need.
from Jacob here. Could you elaborate a little bit more on the structures that GB are using offensively and defensively?
Yeah, well, they defend actually with, if you look at the press structure, it's a 2-3-2-3, more or less, if I may say so. And then they put pressure, they try to channel the ball outside, and then they close in by supporting, and they create two free men on the midfield, so that there's always pressure on the ball. And I think that that's part of the success, because when they win the ball, they have space to be more creative and go for it. So the moment they win the ball, then you see that they are increasing their numbers, and they increase their numbers fast. And because they are compact, they can also do that more easily, and then they keep the ball longer on the ball side, and then accelerate to the help side and do more diagonal play. So that's what I see in general in their play. Is that the
Yeah.
answer, Jacob?
I hope that answered the question, Jacob. If not, let us know. Um,
Okay.
for me, then maybe a final question about the two European teams that we discussed here today. So Belgium and GB, because we're heading into a summer with a big European Championship, which is a critical tournament. It's always a top level tournament with a lot of competitive teams there, and a spot for Paris at stake. So there's going to be it is not a kindergarten tournament. If
Not at
as a
all.
no as a coach, what should we look for in the team from Belgium? What should we actually pay attention for when they play the European Championships? And the same thing for GB. What should we look for as a coach in GB when they're playing those games with high stakes?
Well, I think that let's start with GB because I know that you live in Belgium, so I want you to wait longer for that part.
Yeah, but I'm
But
Dutch.
if you
I
look
am
at
Dutch.
GB, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah,
Oranje always
that's
boven.
okay. Okay, okay, that's good to hear. Same here. But if I look at GB, I think that GB should be more effective. Get more. Do They should focus more on the results in the D. And if I talk about the result, is a result is for me a shot on the target. It's a penalty corner or an assist, and the players should be more aware about that. Because I think that now they are too much busy with shooting on the goal, so there are too many balls with not getting the result. Saying that, I think also that in defense, they have to make sure that their hot channels that they are not beaten in counterattacks. So they should be more professional and do some more body defensing. That means that you close the way to your goal not only with your stick but also with your body. So your footwork must be in order that if the opponent wants to beat you, he needs to run around you and not that he can cut you off. And especially in counter attack, where there's more space. So I think that that will be the challenge. And in tournaments which is for a result like this, see the more serious tournaments, I think this is something which GB has to work on, because also in the Pro League they sometimes get too easy goals against. Then about Belgium, I think that Belgium team will be. I think that more experienced players will be in the team for Europe. So different ball game. So knowing their experiences, and I hope that they will allow some younger players also the opportunity, so that there will be a mix. But I expect that the more experienced players are good enough to control the matches, and I think Belgium will be in the finals actually because they
Okay.
have enough quality. Hendricks is again fit, so they have a
Hmm.
good corner. Tom Bone has a good corner, so they are still a powerhouse and an experienced powerhouse. So don't think that a lot will change uh, at the European, but I can be wrong. Maybe they surprise us by sending the young team in, but I don't believe it
I don't
because,
think. I didn't
as you
think so.
said, there's a lot at stake in this tournament. No,
Absolutely.
I don't think so too. That's why.
No, but so let's do the prediction, and I agree with you. Belgium in the final, and I think against Germany again. So a repeat of the World Cup final.
I think that Holland will be in the final.
Okay. Looking forward to that then. Yeah. Um, Final question from Anthony from Barbados here. Coming back to GB then, and then we're going to wrap things up because we're approaching the hour mark here. But the question from Anthony from Barbados here is: how would you assess GB's 1v1 defense overall?
Well, I already said it. I think that the 101 defense should be a little more physical. I think that they allow the opponent too much opportunity to beat them, and they should slow it down more without uh, doing strange things. Huh? But with your body, you can cover more space. You can make it more difficult for them to enter your D, and it's also it depends on your footwork and your intentions. So on the one hand, you need to be more patient, but you need not to give them too much space, because if you allow them space, it becomes a running game, and then they have easy possibilities to play a give and go, and you're gone. So it's a 101, but the 101 is followed by 2v1, which they try to create a give and go game, and you need to make sure that in the one-on-one situation, the head is fully down and they are only busy with you as defender. And I think that GB can improve in that.
Okay, cool. Let's wrap things up here. Siegfried, thanks very much for again sharing the knowledge with us. Your insights and your views on the teams, we know, but very interesting to hear those. And thanks, coaches, also for sharing your questions here. It was a nice interactive session here, so that's always a good one. So. We're back with another session next week, but this was our final session from the SWOT analysis from the Pro League teams, and I guess we're all looking forward to that European Championship with some crazy games going on. But before that, I think that the games between Holland and Belgium in the Pro League could be the ones who decide who will finally win the Pro League. So also some interesting games to look forward to in the weeks ahead here. So Siegfried, all the best in Oman, a new hockey adventure there, and I hope that you're enjoying yourself there and making them look good on the hockey pitch. Okay, guys, bye bye.